Greetings, Cleveland, and welcome to Creative Focus, the show that illuminates some of Cleveland's most talented and creative artists across the genres of dance, film, music, theater, and visual arts. I'm your host, Cornell Calhoun III, and I am thrilled to be at Studio Zero and honored to have as my guest award-winning producer, director, filmmaker, Mr. Marquette Williams. Marquette, welcome to Creative Focus, man. Let's chop it up.
For sure. For sure.
So now, it's been about 18 years since we worked together. I was just saying, you know, and it was just an incredible experience for me because I saw a young guy come into my building and say, hey man, I want to shoot a film in here.
Remember that?
And you remember that?
I do remember that.
And the rest was history, man. It's just good to see you and honored to have you on my show.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
What was your inspiration for going into film, Marquette?
I got a weird relationship with art in general. So I would say that I started off just drawing, right? I went to St. Henry's and there were just other artists that were just better at it, right? There's a guy named Sano and he could draw a perfect circle. So that made me try to look at other things I could do. So I always wrote poetry. I was a very quiet child. So I spent a lot of time in my head. So the poetry turned into me making my own comic books. And so that's the basis of storyboarding, right? Which is the basis of framing, right? And then I worked into photography. And then I kind of played a lot of sports. So it was like something that I secretly did. You know how it is, like with the homies, like you don't necessarily tell the homie you be listening to poetry, you like growing flowers, right? So there are parts of me that, when my mother raised me, she made me very well-rounded as a man. So in a lot of ways, I know a lot of things about little things, right? So I know how to sew, I know how to kind of dance, I know how to paint, I know how to sculpt.
Dance.
Yeah, kind of two-stepping, right? So I learned a lot of artistic pieces at a very young age through the Cleveland Museum of Art, right? Then I played ball for a while and kind of just, if you was like a woman I was dating, then you knew this side of me, right? But right around like probably 12, I wrote my first play. So by 14 or 15, I was like writing at least 3-4 times a week just on my own. And then my stepfather, the man that raised me, is a writer. So I saw a man make a living at being an artist. I saw a man win awards for being an artist. And it was different than playing ball because he's a small man, he's slight of frame. So it wasn't a physical thing. And I began to look at like, man, what's going on in my head is special, not so much my physical body. You feel what I'm saying? So that turned into just me wanting to express myself. And then once I got to college, you know, they always talk about basket weaving classes for athletes. I learned quickly that the film program had lots of girls. It's being real, you know what I mean? And me and my man was walking by a hallway and we saw some young ladies that we knew and we went and signed up for the class. So I always knew I wanted to like be in visual arts in some way. I was always in the history because of my, like where my family is. Obviously there was Black Power movement conversation. So that's about taking control of our image. So I think internally there's a part of me that always believes we should tell our stories because we don't frame our narrative enough. And I'm not saying that other people who do it purposely try to make us look bad. I don't believe that. What I believe is we're very private as people. And so we haven't shown you how our home life is for Thanksgiving or Christmas. We don't show you what we actually dream about, right? Every gangster back in the day, he was a break dancer, he was a Michael Jackson dancer. I don't care what it is. If your dude is 50 years old, he pretended to be Michael Jackson at one time or Prince. But that's not the narrative they tell. So we keep a lot of our history private. So I felt like the way I make films, the way I write stories, is to really show this whole other eclectic part of our people that we don't talk about. So I think that's kind of what answered the question.
In terms of your mentoring and your teaching, and talk about the iFilm program, because that's just an incredible concept.
Yeah.
And is it more workforce?
Yeah, completely.
Right. And why is it different from other workforce programs, would you say?
Oh, wow. First off, I always talk about teaching from application. So most people, and it's not a knock on them, they're kind of teaching what they've never actually done. So film is like I don't know, surgery. You want to learn from the person that's cut up as many bodies as possible, right? That's the surgeon you want to learn from. So first and foremost, the iFilm program itself is a hands-on kinetic learning program, really focused on below-the-line labor. We deal with directors, we deal with writers, but our main focus is crew, lights, camera, sound. Like, what is the populace on a set for employment that doesn't have to go to college? So when we did the fatherhood movie, right, we interviewed 200 fathers, and big ups to Al Grimes, our sponsor, big ups to Maurice, big ups to Peter Lawson-Jones. We noticed in that interview process that the reason why men were not engaged in their children's lives was really lack of employment. They didn't have nothing to do with education. It didn't have nothing to do with race. It didn't have nothing to do with background. It was literally, if I can't pay for a gift, if I can't pay my child support, then as a man, I have no value, right? And I think we see that systemically today, right? So the program was really just to make modules to give to workforce development people to teach film. It turned into, I got to teach this, and I got to really, I had a meeting with a mentor here, a very powerful man, and he said, if you're serious about helping your people, you'll move back from LA, because we can't take you serious if you don't live here. And it took about 3 years. And so that was the big thing, is we're going to move here, we're going to teach. So it's really just creating jobs. It's teaching our people how to leverage the 30% tax incentive that the state has, which is based on labor. It's also teaching, every student, my goal is to teach you one skill. That's great if you want to make movies. That's great if you want to shoot or dance or rap, whatever. That's great. That's entertainment. But behind that are union positions that the average union worker in the entertainment industry is about 57 years old. It's very similar to the average age of a union worker in general construction, right? So when minority people, poor whites, immigrants have done well in our country, it's when there was a labor shortage. So you got $70 million, $100 million tax incentive, whatever it is, right? But you only have like 350 people in the union statewide. So you don't have enough people to do more than that one Superman movie. That's our chance to get this money. That's our chance to help our people, feed our people. So that's really the design of iFilm, is to create something that, if you want to go to CSU later, cool. If you want to go to TRC, cool. If you feel like you should go to Baldwin, these are all great institutions. Those people had that fire before they got there. That actor knew they were going to be an actor, right? What we're trying to do is ignite the fire. I'm trying to get you thinking about this as early as possible. You're 5 years old. I want you to be able to say, like, oh, I'm going to work camera. I'm going to be just like this dude right here. That's what I'm trying to get our people to dream about, not the front end of the camera stuff. You have a special skill set. You have a very unique skill set that is talent, right? That's got nothing to do with recording sound. That's got nothing to do with hanging lights, right? We want them to understand that this stuff is where you want to really make your living. So that's where it was birthed out of.
And about how many students do you support?
Our goal is to do 30 a year. So right about now, we probably, I would say almost 50 students have gone through our program. And we're trying to increase that. We do a young adult, which is under 21, and an adult, which is over 21.
And what is the big support issue with dealing with the kids that you think? What do you give them? What does iFilm give them that someone else can't?
First and foremost, accountability, right? Accountability to others, accountability to your art. Something's greater than you, right? Second off, knowledge of self. You can't come in here and make no twerking videos. You can't come in here and make no gangster videos where you shooting black people every frame. You can't come up in here and make a film where you're using the N-word or smacking black women. You can't do that here. You're going to learn about cinema. You're not going to learn about you vicariously living a fantasy through the camera because you have low self-esteem. You're going to learn about Oscar Moshe. You're going to learn about Alfred Hitchcock. You're going to learn about how these frames were created. We teach cinema. We don't teach videography, right? You can learn that, but we're here to teach you what these frames mean, what these angles mean, right? And then furthermore, I really think that people need a safe space to be themselves, right? When we went and did some touring of the prison system, I found that a huge amount of those dudes were artists. They had never found a safe space where that big muscle-bound dude can talk about, I really love putting flowers in the scenes. Because he can't tell the big homies that's what he into. He can't tell them his favorite color pink. My favorite color is pink. I'm for real about that. It's creating a safe space. So I think our people need that. And you see them, when they finish the program, it's 6 months of straight up cinema learning, and it's 6 months of on-the-job training. Rarely do they leave. If they make it through the year, they're still here. And that's the point of what we do.
Now you have a gala or something coming up. To talk a little bit about that.
So last year, we had a meeting with the city of Cleveland, and it sparked an idea of, Jockey Simmons down there about how do we use this for intervention? And so we said, okay, we normally do like short film workshops. We do those like 2 times a month. We do a lot of hands-on workshops. So we're going to do a feature workshop. And this is when I get to come out and work with the students and kind of show them, number one, this is why I'm your teacher, right? You heard these things, but you ain't really seen me rock. So first thing I do is show you how I get down. And immediately your level of play is going to come up, right? Then we just take them through the full process of making a film, setting up your own company, raising money, losing money, renting equipment, buying equipment, scheduling. Like the thing about our people is like, it's not just the front end. Like when Johnny Magic comes in there and does the interview, that 22-year-old dude scheduled the film, did the budget, and physically edited, did all the VFX. Like they're taking ownership of something. The next part of it is these galas, these screenings is, to be an independent filmmaker, you have to take your wares on the road. It's the same as the Chitlin circuit with the blues musicians. This is what we must do. You cannot sit back on your phone and vicariously promote and think that that is reaching a person, right? Mm-hmm. We want them to go out and promote their wares. This is a film that you guys made. This is a film that you own. Go put it in the theater, because that's where movies are meant to be seen. Movies are meant to be something we dream about. We're supposed to escape our normal lives. That's what it's in the theater, bigger than life. So I want them to have the experiences that I had of strangers sitting there and reacting to your scenes and your music and your experiences, right? So that's kind of the deal with the screenings for Interval.
Okay, and Interval is, when is the premiere for Interval?
We're doing a series of private screenings the 22nd of June, the 29th of June, the 6th of July, the 27th of July. And there'll be one every Sunday. And the reason why it's on Sunday and it's at 1 o'clock is we used to go to movies at the church. That was family time, right? That was how the still working men of our families gave us culture. Right, so I'm trying to bring back that concept. But after church, come down and see a really good movie that has heroes in it, that has action, it has science fiction, it's got laser guns, it's got time travel. But at the same sense, you won't leave there being called racist names for an hour and a half. You won't leave there feeling bad about yourself. You're going to leave there feeling like a very stoic and heroic person. And that's what I'm trying to build into my art.
And the film will be screened where?
Shaker Square at Atlas Cinema. And then after that, we'll do Capitol Theater down in Lakewood. And then we'll have some screenings in Akron. And then we'll swing back and have some screenings in Euclid. Right. So we're just trying to move it around the city. And then we'll go down to Atlanta. We're going to go to New York. We're going to go to LA. So we got like a 13-city tour that we're probably going to expand eventually to 20. And part of it is really, again, to show our students how to take it on the road, like how to do it like Master P style out the trunk. This is how you get your money. Right.
And the iFilm kids worked on Interval.
Yeah, man. This both the students. Okay, people right fresh off the street came and worked on Interval, had never been on a movie set before. That was dope because they had never really understand how you make it. We had our students like actually who were in the program, and then all of our graduate students did it. So our goal is always to make a film where we hire at least 30 to 50 people. So we were able to do that so our students can fill those numbers. And then next year, we're going to try to do 4 of those films. So we're trying to get it to where we're able to employ people for 6 to 7 months out the year through making these micro projects.
Okay. So we're going to take a break, and we're going to take a break and come back and look at a trailer from Interval and have a couple more guests. Okay. We'll be right back.
In the future, the only way to solve violent crimes is in the past.
This is our target, Jessica Bacon.
Interval is an action-packed sci-fi thriller that follows a team of time-traveling cops on a mission to stop serial killers in the past.
Our first victim, York Michaels, concert violinist.
Agent Kennedy leads a specialized unit that is focused on apprehending these criminals.
I just didn't want them to leave.
To have his freedom, Agent Kennedy must outsmart his team.
I should probably get going, it's getting late.
And escape into the past.
You used to be a great leader. You used to be a great man.
Each one has died in the field trying to take that position.
In the future, there are no heroes.
If I ever see you again,
only victims.
I'll kill you where you stand.
Back with Creative Focus, and this time I have two members of the Interval Film, actor Robert Bray and director-producer Johnny Jonathan Miller. Why they call you Johnny Magic, man?
It's actually very interesting. I used to do magic tricks, so the name kind of stuck.
It stuck with you, right? Rob, I got a surprise for you because we worked on a film 11 years ago.
We did.
FAU, The Land, man.
We did.
I got a photo, man.
Oh,
I
you
can't
got
believe
that?
it. Yeah,
Yeah, nice.
And I'm trying to figure out why you always play a detective or a cop, man.
I'm always a cop. I don't know. What?
Talk about your role in Interval.
Interval. I play a time traveling cop from the future, Kennedy. He pretty much is going back in time long story short, to quit his job. Yeah, that's the way I put it.
And you're a fabulous actor, but what were the challenges in doing a film like that?
Challenges?
Yeah. Would you say?
I would say, for me, I don't really see it as a challenge as much as it's just it's an opportunity to just, I don't know, expand. Sometimes I like to change certain things like look or voice or what mannerisms or whatnot. So I'll do my research and like look at things and, stand in the mirror, practice, So that was pretty much it. Just the time that it took to get ready.
Jonathan, talk about your role in the film.
Absolutely. So my role in the film was first assistant director. So I was sitting next to Marquette the whole time, kind of communicating it. A lot of the paperwork of the film I'm doing, right? So I'm building out schedules. I'm helping with the budget. I'm reporting to the producers on time, right? So I'm making sure everything on set is moving at the efficiency and the speed that it needs to do, and that we get everything that we need to shoot, which is sometimes a lot, just all the moving parts. So I make sure it all happens in a given day.
About how long is the film?
The film is about 88 minutes as we speak. Yep.
And talk about the process of auditioning for the actors. Did you have a part in that?
So it's very interesting. We were actually shooting. I have a little cameo in the film, so I look forward to it. Yeah, I got a little cameo in the film.
Man.
Yeah, so we were actually in here, and Marquette was like, "We got this character. You're up. Just go in and just do this thing," and it worked out really well.
Okay. All right. Rob, in terms of this role, is it more challenging for you than any other role you've played, would you say?
I wouldn't say challenging, no. I would say more so it's different than any other role. So in the sense that we're working with a lot of like different like sets, and no, it's not any different. No, it's not challenging, no. Yeah.
Jonathan, what do you want the audience to take from this film?
The message of this film, what I would like people to take from it is that it's not just a movie that you go and watch. It's about the community behind it, right? So we got to work with a lot of amazing people, a lot of amazing cast like Rob, Jenny, Deja, a whole bunch of amazing Cleveland actors, a lot of amazing Cleveland crew, a lot of which I have, grown in the iFilm space and the Studio Zero space together with. So this is a big moment, I think, for Cleveland to see that workforce development, all the connections that you make, the network inside of this humble little studio, it's all kind of coming up, and it's more about that. It's more about community.
So what inspired you to go into film? I mean, what was the attraction? Oh,
absolutely. I actually used to work at McDonald's, and I was doing the headset on the back. So when I was taking people orders, it gets kind of monotonous. So I would sit there and I would do voices on the headset, and I would make it fun and make it interesting. So when people would come through, they knew it was me. So then I went to school to be a voiceover. I wanted to do voiceover, and in that program, I sat down to edit a video. First video I edited, I fell in love, and I knew I wanted to be a filmmaker after that.
Rob, how did you get into acting?
Acting started young.
Did you start in theater too, or no?
Theater. I started around like 8. Parents used to take me to auditions for like TV shows and whatnot. And then, started with some representation and did some plays. That's how I got used to working with other actors. I think being in front of a live audience is kind of the best way to kind of get comfortable with taking on roles or whatnot, especially when you're doing it live and then you're doing a repetition night after night. You start to find different ways to you start figuring out what can I do better, and then you start doing that, and that's how I got started.
Because you always looked at as the heartthrob actor, right? You always, right? You were. Johnny Magic, talk about the process, because you came out of the iFilm program, right? Talk about that process and how you got initiated in there.
Yeah, so I actually met Marquette. He and I worked together on a different project, and he was like, "Hey, come down to my studio." So I came down, we started editing. So I've been here for about 3 years. So I started as a little editor, making little videos and all that jazz. So through my iFilm program, I started learning new skills, right? So it became from video editor, and now it's, you're great at communicating, so let's try to get you on this first AD track. And then once you kind of keep moving up, now I'm a producer at the studio, one of the space managers, right? So my experience with iFilm has just been nothing but learning, growing, and helping others learn and grow.
And how many years are we talking about? When did you come?
About 3. We're about 3 years in.
3 years,
yeah, absolutely.
And you've risen like that.
Absolutely.
What are the benefits of the program?
The benefits of the iFilm program is so first of all, if you don't like school, or you don't like sitting and learning and reading, you're still going to have to do some of that on your own time. But every time you're on set, you learn something new. So the beauty of what we do is that it's all on job, it's all on set training. So you get to work with industry professionals, do workshops, you get to be in the moment, you get to learn, you get to touch cameras, put up lights, you get to talk to industry people, you get to just do the whole 9, and you get to work with amazing actors like Rob, and you get to do all sorts of fun stuff. So it's really just putting you in an environment where you can learn and grow and adapt.
I appreciate the shout out.
Yeah. You can pay him later. Hey, but I wanted to run this by you, because time travel, that's a hard process to work out. How did you prepare yourself for that role?
I feel like one of the most the biggest questions I ask myself is what to expect from a person from the future, as far as how they carry themselves, how do they talk, how do they express emotions, how do they, if he's from the military, they live on a spaceship, he doesn't know what a life is, a normal life. So how does he express himself and all that kind of stuff. So I started writing that down and going through those things and working out his what's his psychology like under those circumstances.
Do you have a favorite scene in the film?
Yeah. I have a couple favorite scenes. I would say that it's hard to choose which one's my favorite. Yeah, I like the locations at TRG. You know, it's like this indoor studios, like houses everywhere. You know, like indoor houses, and they're also one of my favorite clients. So I've done some assignments with them with Jared's and some national projects and whatnot. And yeah, it's always a cool vibe going up there and like seeing how things are set up and whatnot. But yeah, there's so many to choose from though. Yeah.
For both of you, what impact do you hope that the film Interval has on the audience?
I hope that they have fun watching it. You know, it's laser guns. You know, it's people being cool. I mean,
What about you, John?
I hope that people can see that anything is possible. This is a film that is not a huge budget film, right? It's not a huge Marvel movie. It's ordinary people doing ordinary things, extraordinary things, and it's really special to see that this is all about the people and the community that's behind it. So if you're gonna love the movie, of course, go check it out, June 22nd, June 29th. But yeah, man, it's all about the people.
All right, hey, thanks you guys for being on the show, man. I've learned a lot, and I can't wait to see the movie.
Thank you.
All right.
Absolutely.
So that's it, Cleveland. We're out. But remember, a true artist is not only inspired, but inspires others. I'm Cornell Calhoun III for TV20 and Creative Focus. Until the next time becomes our time, be well, be safe.